So people would want to like turn you on to things. And I would go to parties or meet people, and they would, say, "Hey man, have you ever done mushrooms?" And "Hey man, have you ever heard of DMT?" And then there's a few different things that would happen, and you would be around these people who had gone to jail for it, or that were like real psychedelic heads. And once I was around a few of those, I realized there's a whole nother world out there. And then I discovered Timothy Leary and John Lilly, and the flotation tank became a giant part of my life. And then, Terence McKenna and Dennis McKenna and all the various psychedelic wizards that are out there that have been sort of expressing that there's a whole world out there that you're not seeing. It's like we're living life inside this very strange tent, this very thin membrane tent. And if you just unzip that tent and step out, the entire wilderness of the universe exists. But most people live their life inside this very thin-walled tent, and they think that tent sort of defines the actual universe itself, when it's so small and so limited.
Is there a chance that you open that tent and you don't like what you see, and now you've fucked your whole life up? Because I think that's most people's apprehension about doing that. Like,
specifically,
can you not come back?
Yes. Well, Sid Barrett, there's been a lot of people that were, I have friends that know friends that, the issue is with, psychosis and people that have schizophrenia, people that have like legitimate mental health issues. And the argument is correlation or causation, right? And the argument is, do psychedelic drugs cause mental illness, or do a certain amount of people already have mental illness? And I think it's much more likely that the percentage of people that are schizophrenic remains static. Because if you look at it like this, the number of people who smoke marijuana who are also schizophrenic mirrors the number of people who are schizophrenic, period. So it's not that marijuana causes schizophrenia, it's that 1 out of 100 or whatever the number is, they just have this issue. And for those people, it's critical that they avoid psychedelic drugs, that they avoid marijuana, and probably even alcohol, or maybe a bunch of other psychotropic drugs as well, because you've got an imbalance. Just like someone who has a liver disease has an imbalance, just like someone who has a lung disorder can't breathe well, someone who has cystic fibrosis, or someone who has any number of diseases. You got to kind of think of it that way.
Yeah.
There's an ailment of the mind, and so if you add this unknown element to that ailment, like 5 grams of dried mushrooms, like, whoa, who the fuck knows what could happen? You might never come back. And then there's the question, the other part of your question is it possible you could open that tent and not like what you see and fuck up your life? Yes. Yes, even if you don't have schizophrenia or a mental disorder, you might have a view of the world that's untenable with the experience that you have under the influence of psychedelics. But that might mean that your view of the world is bullshit.